Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. The University of Montana is addressing reports detailing the reason for firing Grizzly head soccer coach Mark Platoris.
President Seth Bodnar released a statement this afternoon. He said, quote, "The university's first priority is our athletic programs and the success and support of our student athletes. In this case, when concerns were raised, the university initiated a careful process with qualified professionals to examine the situation thoroughly." It was on Tuesday UM sent out a release claiming that Platoris had resigned from the position he had had for 7 years. But yesterday's news broke that Platoris was fired after an investigation into improper texting with athletes led to the discovery of texts to a Las Vegas escort service. Derek will have much more on this coming up later in sports.
Authorities are continuing to investigate a reported shooting at an apartment building located at Turner Court in Missoula. Missoula Police Lieutenant Sandy Borkland says a 24-year-old man reported he'd been shot inside a residence there. He's alert and working with law enforcement. He was taken to the hospital. Borkland says that the shooter is known to the victim. Now, at last word, the shooter was not in custody. But Borkland tells us there's no known danger to the public at this time. Turning now to weather, expect some snow and rain this weekend, and we do have some winter weather advisories and watches to talk about. For that, Aaron Yost joins us with the details. Aaron?
Yeah, things have been a little warm out there today along with wet conditions. We'll continue that tonight and into much of the day tomorrow before a switch over for a lot of us to snow heavy at times too Saturday night to Sunday. This is what it looked like today though in Hamilton for Security Bank ICAM. The radar not necessarily as lit up as it's been today, but we are still dealing with some scattered mountain snow and valley rain. We will see that picking up in intensity though as we head into the late part of tomorrow and right through early Monday. Here's a look at where those winter storm watches have been posted. They include the Flathead and Mission Valleys. Hardest hit areas expected to be along the divide. More details coming up.
A Frenchtown music teacher now faces a felony of sexual assault charge after prosecutors say he inappropriately touched a female student on a near daily basis. Meanwhile, a new judge is being assigned to hear the civil suit brought against the Frenchtown School District and Superintendent Randy Klein over its handling of the original complaint against teacher Troy Basher.
The parents of the girl in the first complaint are suing the district and Klein in U.S. District Court. The case was originally assigned to U.S. District Court Judge Dana Christensen, but now the proceeding has been transferred to veteran Judge Don Malloy. A pre-trial conference is scheduled for early March. MTN's Connor McCauley brings us the latest in this case.
Missoula Deputy County Attorney Brian Lowney filed the charge at Missoula Justice Court on Monday against Frenchtown teacher Troy Basher. This new charge follows a misdemeanor sexual assault charge from October involving another student. Basher pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor in November. The first student claimed Basher sexually harassed and groped her on several occasions in 2016. Prosecutors say the new charge stems from inappropriate contact that spanned from the summer of 2014 to early 2017. The girl reported the contact escalated from hugging to groping. The student said the first incident happened when she was in the 7th grade. In court documents, the girl reported to her mother about the inappropriate hugging and was confused, asking her if it was inappropriate. The mother reported the touching to Frenchtown administrators, who then told the student and her parents that Basher was warned to stop such contact. However, Jane too indicated that though the touching stopped for several months, it began again at the end of 2014 and continued through her next 2 years in school. Jane Doe told authorities she believes that the defendant had touched her in some way every day since the touching began at the end of 7th grade. Basher has acknowledged that he had touched the student's lower back on at least one occasion, but characterized such touching as innocuous. Connor McCauley, MTN News, Frenchtown.
The Ronan School District is reporting it has completed its Title IX investigation into allegations of an inappropriate relationship between a teacher and a student. Ronan Superintendent Mark Johnston says on January 16th, the administration was made aware of the relationship between a middle school teacher and an 18-year-old student. The teacher was also the high school assistant boys basketball coach. The relationship in question prompted the school district to open a Title IX investigation. The teacher resigned, though, before the investigation concluded. Johnston Johnston says the investigation substantiated the allegations. He says, quote, "We are beyond disappointed that one of our own would betray the values that define the Ronan School District, and will support any student who is subject to inappropriate conduct from a staff member." The matter has now been referred to the Office of Public Instruction for further action.
A former Florence doctor is heading to prison, sentenced after a unanimous jury verdict finding him guilty last fall of nearly 24 felonies, including 2 counts of negligent homicide.
However, he won't be starting his sentence until the Montana Supreme Court affirms his conviction, even after Judge Jeffrey Langton found Dr. Chris Christensen was careless to the extreme with some patients. MTN's Augusta McDonald was in the courtroom this morning.
Even though Christensen was sentenced for the 22 felony counts he was found guilty of this fall, it doesn't mean that he's headed to prison right away. The former doctor receives 20 years in prison, with 10 of those suspended, but he will remain free on a $200,000 bond until the appeal process is over. Judge Jeffrey Langton, who has been presiding over this case since Christensen first went under investigation for overprescribing opioids in 2014, said that he did not think the former doctor was a flight risk or an immediate threat to the community. Just before handing down the sentence, the judge said he was reluctant to put Christensen with other inmates that you might find in a prison setting.
I'm reluctant to put the defendant in a prison setting with the types of people that are there. On the other hand, that's really the only tool in my toolbox.
Although 69-year-old Christensen did not make a statement, his attorney responded to some of the things he did say on record during the pre-sentencing investigation process, showing that he had no remorse for his actions and would, quote, "do it all over again."
But I will say on his behalf that I know he is deeply regretful for the deaths. I have talked to him about it. He's deeply regretful for bad outcomes for all of his patients. That's the way he is. One can be regretful and wish for alternative outcomes without saying that one is the cause of death. We, of course, contend that he's not the cause of death.
Judge Langton acknowledged that Christensen had a history of prescribing extremely shocking levels of opiates. But the judge said he took into account the supportive statements of more than 50 people who spoke up on Christensen's behalf. Augusta McDonald, MTN News, Hamilton.
The appeals process could last close to a year. The judge said that because of so many novel applications of the law that occurred in this case, he expects the High Court to give the proceedings a thorough review. Christensen already had his medical license revoked. His attorney has asked, though, that the $26,000 in court costs be waived because Christensen is close to $1 million in debt.
Salute the Badge is sponsored by Montana Rail Link, supporting the Main Street of Montana for 30 years.
Being a firefighter means being ready for almost any emergency that comes your way. But for Missoula firefighters, that's especially true along the banks of the Clark Fork River, where they never know exactly what they'll have to cope with when they're called out to a rescue call. Plunging into the frigid waters of the Clark Fork every winter is just part of the job for Missoula firefighters, who are just wrapping up their month-long training for ice rescues. And especially with varying weather like we've had this winter, it's always an assignment of unknowns.
Being on the river, it's a dynamic situation, and based on weather conditions, it's different every time. We might have a solid sheet of ice, we might have open leads, we might have entirely open water. So depending what we're dealing with, that can affect how we go about the rescue and what sort of equipment we use and how we access that patient. And that's one of the reasons it's good to get down here on the river so we are familiar with the current conditions.
The firefighters practice with a variety of tools, so they're ready for just about anything. That ranges from tossing a rope to a single firefighter crossing the ice to launching the department's small pontoon boat to provide a rescue platform to get a victim back to shore.
You can have solid, stable ice, and we can get a little warming trend, and now you're dealing with a lot of rotting ice, and what was safe and looked fine 2 days ago is extremely dangerous.
And that's where you can do your part. If you like to run or walk along the river trails, stay off the ice yourself and keep a safe distance away from the river, and keep your dogs off the ice.
And it's quite common that it's the dog that gets into trouble, then the pet owner tries to rescue that dog, maybe some bystanders get involved, and now we have a human rescue. So yeah, keep your pets off the ice, keep your pets safe, keep yourself safe.
Johnson and the others are used to the sympathetic looks they get from bystanders who can't imagine going swimming this time of the year. Managing and preparing for risk, no matter what the temperature, though, is all part of the job of being a firefighter.
It's just always different. No 2 days are ever the same. And there again, that has to do with that dynamic situation, changing conditions. And you need to be able to think on your feet and hopefully put into play what we've previously practiced. And that's why we do this.
Next year they want me to jump in.
Why don't you?
I think I might, but
Yeah.
I'll work up to it. Coming up on KPAX, Aaron has the latest on this winter system moving in and the watches and advisories coming along with it.
Plus, we'll have more on the controversy over the dismissal of the Grizz head soccer coach. UM's president speaking out about it. Derek will have more.